People hadn't eaten in 3 days, yet she gave her last meal to a stranger. What happened next turned her into a legend. By sunset, the entire village was eating from her pot, but no one could explain where the food was coming from. The land was dry. The crops had failed, and hunger had become a daily visitor in the village of Umuaka. Children cried at night. Men wandered the forests searching for anything to eat. Even the strongest had begun to lose hope. But among them lived a widow, a woman with no husband, no farm, and no one to help her. Yet somehow, she still had a small pot of food. That evening, as she prepared to eat her only meal, a weak voice called from outside her hut. "Please, help me. Would you open the door? When you barely have enough to survive." She stepped outside and saw a stranger. Thin, dusty, barely able to stand. "I haven't eaten in days," he whispered. The widow hesitated. Her hands trembled over her pot. This was all she had. If she gave it away, she would go to bed hungry again. But something in his eyes made her decide. She carried the pot outside and placed it before him. "Eat," she said softly. The stranger looked at her, surprised. "And you?" he asked. She smiled faintly. "I will be fine." But she wasn't fine, and deep down she knew it. The stranger began to eat, slowly at first, then faster. But something strange happened. The food did not finish. The pot remained full. The widow frowned. She stepped closer. Was she imagining it? "Call your neighbors," the stranger said calmly. "No one in this village should sleep hungry tonight." Word spread quickly. One by one, villagers arrived. Hungry, desperate, curious, they all ate, and ate, and ate. But the pot never emptied. Whispers began to rise. "This is not normal. She must be hiding something. Maybe it is witchcraft." How quickly kindness turns into suspicion. As the last person finished eating, the stranger stood up. The air suddenly changed. The wind grew still, and his voice was no longer weak. "You all came hungry," he said, "but only one of you chose to give." The villagers froze. The widow stepped back, her heart racing. The stranger turned to her, his eyes now glowing with something beyond human. "You gave your last meal without expecting anything in return. For that, your pot will never run dry." Gasps filled the air, "and your generations will never know hunger." In a blink, he was gone. The widow stood there, trembling. She looked into her pot, still full, always full. From that day on, no one in the village went hungry again. And the widow was never called poor again, because in life, the little you give may be the miracle someone else is praying for. If stories like this remind you that kindness still matters, then this channel is for you. Subscribe and join us for more African stories that stay with you long after they end.